Hey guys, it's Red Carpet Roxy, and I'm in Hollywood for a good old-fashioned Western premiere, Dead for a Dollar, and the cast is amazing. We've got Christoph Waltz, Willem Dafoe, and others, and I'm going to be chatting with all of them, so you don't want to miss it.
Senor Max Borland is a private investigator.
I wouldn't try anything foolish. Walk away from that gun.
What was it about the role that interested you?
A Western with Walter Hill, you don't need to ask questions about it, you know. If you get the chance at all, you say yes, and you try to be...
Your husband is on his way here. I am to watch over you until he arrives.
When my husband gets here, he intends to kill me.
You look great. Look at you.
What was the most memorable scene for you to film on this project?
I do, you know, full power ahead on every single one.
What was the most memorable scene for you to film during this time?
I don't know. I'm kind of partial to death scenes.
I was just going to ask you about that too.
Is that a spoiler? But something about those always kind of stay with me.
I never killed nobody that wasn't trying to kill me.
Stay clear of me, Joe.
You do the same.
And I was seeing you were being interviewed, and you said you're just a regular guy.
Who said that?
You're reckless on screen, but you're just a regular guy at home. So what does that look like?
I probably said that when I was young. Young and not as wise as I am now.
What does everyday life look like for you? What do you enjoy doing?
Working,
Yeah.
being with my family, being in nature, growing food, walking in New York or a big city.
New York is the best for that, isn't it? You just kind of get into those New York moments. And
One of the best. Yeah.
Best.
Most men are afraid to beat me at cards. You will follow orders.
Were you a fan of Westerns growing up or your whole life?
I grew up on Westerns as a staple. So to actually end up being in one, let alone one that's written and directed by Walter Hill, is a kind of dream come true. It's funny, as an actor, this is not a part that I likely would have been cast in, 2 decades ago. But now that I'm in my, deep into my midlife, let's put it that way, it's pretty well. I actually like it, and I'm actually happy that someone of his status sees the potential in kind of mixing it up a little bit. So from that point of view, it was actually quite fun to take on a role like this.
Mr. Borland, I doubt that you're familiar with Private Elijah Jones. He's taken a white woman, my wife, Rachel.
Well, Elijah ain't up there with nobody. If she with Elijah, it's because she want to be.
Why should audiences see this film?
Well, I think it's a good story, but I also think it's relevant to the times we live in. There are racial issues that it not only valorizes the tradition of the Western, but there are racial issues. There are kind of feminist issues that are raised within, you'll see. And so it's not just a traditional Western.
One of your former co-stars is right here as well, Jacqueline Bisset. She said she worked with you on Bullet.
Jackie and I go back to Bullet in 1968. I was the second assistant director, and she was the star, female lead. Beautiful woman. She was always so pleasant. She's never changed.
What was it about your career? Because you've had such a wonderful career. You've had so many great roles and have, flourished. What do you think was the defining factor for you to kind of not fall into those traps?
I never had a big head. I never was over-impressed with myself, and I never took things for granted. One of the current things that I find very difficult is when people think they're owed something. What's it called? Entitlement, yes, and I'm very, very against entitlement. I don't think anybody's entitled, basically, to anything. Because if we were entitled, what about the rest of the world and all the millions of people who have nothing? I mean, it's an absurd, self-gratifying thing, and I just really hate it. And I don't like people who feel entitled. That's because I didn't feel entitled. I think I was a little bit humble, maybe. And I think I didn't put people off, But that's just a feeling.